Hey guys, I'm Camila and welcome to Book Envy. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, this is not the book that I intended on reviewing this week. However, I just finished this novel a couple days ago and I was completely spellbound by the reading experience that I had. And quite frankly, I was just too excited to wait any longer before making a video on this one. No one can deny the hype that has clouded this novel since it was first released back in 1992. And I'm the first to admit that I can be a little skeptical whenever approaching the golden children of literature. However, you can drop the torches, put down the pitchforks. I'm canceling the march because this is one time where the critics absolutely nailed it. This was the most breathtaking debut I have ever encountered. Removing that this is her first novel from the equation, this is still a literary masterpiece, and this book will stay with me for a very long time. I did not want the experience to end. I just wanted to continue walking around in this hazy, dreamlike state where I was living in this world that Donna Tartt had created. This book is a reminder of why I love literature and I love reading and just the art of storytelling, which she does so masterfully. The Secret History follows young academic Richard as he travels from California to the fictional New England school Hampden College. It is there that he decides to study Greek under the direction of a rather unorthodox professor named Julian. Julian has a very small class with 6 other students, and it is the friendship between Richard and those 6 other students that we follow down a very dark, twisty path of mayhem and murder. One part mystery, one part coming-of-age tale, The Secret History is perfectly executed in technique with a compelling storyline to match. I'm going to begin my review today sunny side up because there's so much that I loved. The text itself is very readable. However, this is definitely a book written for literature enthusiasts. First of all, you have the undergrad atmosphere. You can envision the crunchy autumn leaves falling everywhere, seeing people in cozy sweaters and preppy blazers, expensive fountain pens, and someone's in the corner rolling an unfiltered cigarette. I pictured everything in my head almost with an Instagram filter. While that type of setting may not be for everybody, there's no denying that she painted a glorious picture of it that made you feel like you were included. There's also a lot of literary references mentioned, primarily with classics. And when I say classics, I mean Homer, not Salinger. We're going way back in history. So much of the plot hinders on the Greek contribution to literature. I also want to talk about Donna Tartt's writing. Oh my God. Her sentences, you guys, crafted by the hands of angels. They were that good. And I think her writing accomplished something which is very difficult to do. It was literary, but also accessible. And I think it's highly impressive when a writer is able to give us the best of both worlds. I kind of liken it to comedy in a sense. One of my favorite stand-up comedians is George Carlin. And George Carlin was known for being very direct with his choice in language. He was someone not afraid to use profanity, and that's also what made him hilarious. However, when you look at TV shows, Modern Family or Seinfeld or Will and Grace, because they were part of a network, they did not have the luxury to just go around dropping F-bombs. So they had the creative challenge of having to be universally funny. And to me, that's kind of what Donna Tartt is doing. When so much of your writing is giving a head nod to the rest of your English majors, I think it's very easy to be consumed with writing for that demographic, but she doesn't do that. She's literary to a point, but she does it without alienating different reading groups. From most accounts that I could find, it took Donna Tartt about 10 years to write The Secret History. She usually takes about a decade per novel. I'm just going to respect the artist at work because it seems that whenever she completes what she's working on, it's absolutely flawless. Everything is just so well written. The melody doesn't miss a beat, even when she's describing a character's thoughts, run-of-the-mill kind of mundane head noise. She still makes it sound absolutely lyrical. To give you an example, this is a brief excerpt of Richard when he's describing a previous girlfriend that he had from California. I began to realize with some little horror that she was nothing more than a lowbrow pop psychology version of Sylvia Plath. It lasted forever, like some weepy and endless made-for-TV movie. All the clinging, all the complaints, all the parking lot confessions of inadequacy and poor self-image. Last but not least is the one quote, which I think is probably the most famous one from this book. Beauty is terror. Whatever we call beautiful, we quiver before it. I just think that's a very profound statement to make. And honestly, it hit me like a lightning bolt. I just think that that's a statement that appeals to so many different things. It appeals obviously to physical attraction. It also speaks to artistic endeavors, and those of us are really touched by music or a performance or a beautiful painting. And it certainly sums up the way that I feel whenever I come across literature like this very book. Whenever we see something beautiful, we quiver before it. That to me is, it is just genius. So now I'm going to be moving on to my criticisms of The Secret History. There was a moment where I was slightly irritated by Donna Tartt's writing. There's a scene where Richard is speaking with a maid after something has just happened, and while the maid is speaking. This is the only time in the entire novel when Donna Tartt specifically uses improper grammar. I understand that it was to subtly reinforce the wealth and affluence of the main characters. We get that everyone else is rich. Earlier in the novel, people are arguing over how fashionable Gucci is. So I did not feel like it was necessary that in 2 lines where somebody with a lower status was speaking, that she had to make them speak as though they were completely uneducated. One of the main characters, nicknamed Bunny, is kind of well known for being the dim-witted one of the group. They always mention that he turns in his papers with a lot of spelling mistakes, and that it takes him longer to do his homework because he really struggles with the material. At no point is that ever shown to us. We're just told that he's dim-witted. But yet with the maid and the groundspeople, we were shown that they were uneducated. So most of my criticisms with this book are issues that I had with actual characters. I was unsatisfied toward the end when Richard makes a comment about their professor Julian, saying that he loved Julian like Julian was his father. However, through the novel, even though Julian makes appearances, it never feels like he's a main character. It just seemed very inauthentic and very contrived. It just seemed like it didn't belong there. Like, did I miss something? I never really got the sense that Julian was like Robin Williams from Dead Poets Society. If you were somebody who got that feeling, please comment down below, because it really just struck me as odd. So the next character that I have some unresolved tension with would be Camila. Richard is very attracted to Camila and very intrigued by her. There are some mysterious elements to her personality, but ultimately, considering that she was a main character, I feel like she was the least developed, and especially since she was the only female voice, I expected more from her character. Camila is very present for some of the larger action sequences throughout the book. When I say action sequences, I don't mean like, you know, kung fu fighting. I just mean when something serious is going down. Camila's right there in the middle of the fire. But it was really kind of underwhelming to see her lack of development outside of those instances. Allow me to reiterate, The Secret History is a book that will stay with me for a very long time. It is easily one of my new favorites. It is a modern classic if I've ever seen one. When I talked in my BookTube newbie tag about frenzied reading, trying to find quality writing that speaks to me, this just epitomizes everything that I was talking about. Despite some of the minor issues that I had with the characters, I mean, this is why we read books, guys. This was absolutely phenomenal. If you have read it, comment down below, because this is a book I would love to have discussions about. It was just that good. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.